Hi, self-awareness. I am your host, Rose. And this show is about truth vibration. And there's going to be an interesting clip at the end. And I want you to check everything out. Do your own deep research. Now, there's so much to talk about, but the show is only 28 minutes, so I can't say everything that I want to because it's just so much. I am open and just observing and watching people all around me in my neighborhood, people that I've known for years. And they're like 40 or 50 years old. They barely can walk. They're looking like they're 90 years old. And I know them. They got all kind of health issues. And particularly one person I know, and she was such a good-hearted person and looked great, was working and, was on drugs, but she cleaned herself up years ago. But for some reason, she married the wrong man. And he is draining all of her energy. She looks so old. And she's on so much medication, she went from a size 12 to maybe a 18, 20 now. And she doesn't understand that everything is energy. And when you are interacting with negative people or negative things, it brings your energy down. That's why they say like attract like. True, but in some cases, people get that confused because they say, oh, but this is a good person. Why did they attract this bad person? But what people don't enter and understand about universal law and soul contracts, we made soul contracts to go through different experience for different reasons. You may have to go left, I may have to go right. But it doesn't make one right or one wrong. And the thing about vibration, this is what people do not enter and understand. Everything's vibrate, everything. Even what we think is solid, it's not solid. We believe it is, so that's why it feels solid. Because it's all a programming, because this whole matrix is an illusion that was set up for mind control on this third dimension. And this is what I explain to people in all 5 of my books, because 2018, which is this month is September, part 2 of the White Book will be out. And I explain more of why we do what we do, why we think the way we think, why we respond the way we do. It's all mostly programming. And people don't even realize they are in a trance of mind control. Monkey see, monkey do. And a good point is, it's with all the technology. It's killing people slowly but surely. Now, this is a book, Mindless. Now, what the subtitles say, why smarter machines are making dumber humans. They're talking about us. And It's true because well, I don't have and never bought a cellular phone, microwave, all of that stuff. I just knew it wasn't good. And people will go crazy without a cellular phone. And all of these gadgets that got people vibrating that they think they have to have these things. And they don't even really do any research because the Creator gave you everything in divine order. So whatever is meant for you and you in alignment with the Creator and trust that source, you don't have to worry about anything. And this is what people don't, we worry about everything. We fear everything. That's a low frequency. And that's what the system want to keep you on. Stress out. Now you got to go get some medication that you think is going to help you. You're going to go and eat it, drink it, shop it, worship the wrong creator, anything to not deal with the inner self. And that's the most challenging thing you're going to have to go through on this dimension, because that's the reason you came here, to go through what we call bad, to remember who you really are. That's why 2 Timothy, the Creator said, verse 7, I did not give you a spirit of fear. I gave you love, sound mind, and power. But most of us, we don't believe it. And it's a very challenging process to believe in the source that we believe we cannot see, that it's there for you, waiting on you. But we got to be in line with that source. This is why when I had the disease that 2 hospitals say was incurable, I got into spirituality from reading the book, The Key to Yourself. That's what the Creator sent to me because I was asking for help. And I didn't want to go out like my grandmother that I lived with for a while. All her life she suffered, all my relatives in the South. Even now, the young generation, little younger than me, because I'm going to be 70 in 2 years, they got diabetes, leg cut off, arm cut off, and they still believing in a false God. And my thing is, if you keep doing the same thing, thinking the same thing, and getting the same result, don't you think you need to change your thinking? Because thought creates your reality. What you focus on expands. It's you. And people don't want to go through a process. And doubt is going to always come up, just like fear. But you can work through the fear because you have the power. You are the power. This dimension of mind control has convinced most people you are powerless. Even the ones that go to church every Sunday. They don't believe they're powerful. They're waiting on someone to save them when the Creator gave them the power to save themselves, to heal themselves, and to have whatever you need when you need it. It's already there. It's just aligning up with it. And just as like I told people, these magazines are free. They come out like every 2 months, and very great articles. Just information. And this one, change your frequency, change your life. And that's the key. Where are you vibrating? Who's in your life? What kind of people are you interacting with? What kind of mate that you are interacting with or married to? I was married to someone back in the 60s that was on a very low negative vibration. But at that time, I was too. But as I started learning, evolving, and remembering who I am, I'm at a level now, I already know I am everything. And whatever I need, and I don't like the word need and hope and I want. And I explained that in my book, that the Creator already gave us everything. We just have to get in alignment. We have to claim it. We have to demand it. But we are afraid to take that stand because we've been programmed to look out there. You know, the politician gonna do it. LeBron James gonna do it. Oprah gonna do it. Creflo Dollar gonna do it. Austin is gonna do it. These people are part of the mind control, and they got you. And this is why it's not even about me. This show is me putting the message out to let you know you are the one you've been seeking all your life. You have the power. You can heal anything. You can be at peace. You can be happy and joyous within yourself. But we keep looking for it out there, looking for someone to love us. Love yourself. And when the time is right, the right one will be there. When it's time, because everything is in divine order. We want everything instant. And our time, in the Creator time, woo, to us, it's 10, 20 years. The Creator is a wink of an eye. Because in reality, there is no space and time. But I have another clip that I'm going to insert that I want you to pay attention. And it's 16 minutes long, but I only can show 13 minutes of it. But you can go on YouTube and check it out. And so many other great DVDs, clips that David Icke have. I started learning about him over 20 years ago. Susie made me aware of David Icke. So check it out. And the Creator in me greets the Creator in you. Take back your God, Most High, given power. Thank you.
Dr. Strange, you can get an idea of how much occult knowledge the megastructure or industrial complex, which is the military and Hollywood, and how they work together. Ronnie Reagan, all the stars from, the false stars, Jay-Z, Beyonce coming in and trying to endorse and sending their power into this. But the goal is just to get you to vote, okay? Because that's what was said, that out of all things, at this particular election, more people voted than ever voted in history. And this is obviously because of the influence of social media, and then how social media can get everyone commenting on things and everyone feeling like they're all a part of something, but still that something is being controlled by what put all of that in front of you, what created the internet. The internet was used by the military for 40, 50 years before it actually was released to the public. The entire internet is in the cradle of the military industrial complex as far as how everything is set up, just so you're aware. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about a grand play. And that's why it's known as the House of Cards, because when you see them put the mask on in the occult rituals, right? You know, like the one on Eyes Wide Shut, you know, you see the mask. Those masks are actually cognates of tarot cards, that you are to take on the role of that card. That's what they talk about in these books in the secret societies, right? So now Donald Trump is taking on the role of the Joker, the wild card, the one that nobody expected to win. And the actions that will now occur after this will completely be wild card and Jokerish. People will not expect some of the things to occur. So the reason why you have to get this conversation in your head and your consciousness today is because you need to realize that, hey, all this is another wake-up call like 9/11, another time to snap you out of the hypnosis, to let you know that this is not a game for you. This is a game that they're playing on you, but this is not something that you end up winning. It's not your game. You have to get completely out of this matrix. And how you get out of that is you actually begin to take your energy and divert it elsewhere, primarily towards yourself. So this is why you would need to do that. So because you had all these people who signed up for this new king, what you had go on is a thing that a lot of people are not aware of what the elections is all about. Why is it so important to get you to get out there and vote? If the House of Cards is as they say it is, and they choose who's going to be the president and they control things anyway, why are you so important? Your energy. There is a ritual that takes place. When you go to the ballots, okay, now the ballot is the female name of Baal. There's Baal, who's the old lord, the old king, and then there's the Baal's wife, the Baalat, right? So you go to the ballots. You cast your vote, okay? So casting is an occult term for when you actually project or direct your energy into something, like even like a fisher cast his line into the ocean, right? So now you cast your vote, okay? And then now what takes place is you must place your two-dimensional imprint, which is your signature. You must place your two-dimensional imprint into this system as a confirmation that on that level, which is two-dimensional, that's the lower planes, you agree to what's about to occur. You elect this king. Okay, so that's what that whole thing is really about. And then once that's done, on another level that most people never see because they don't have active third eyes, their RAN basically consents to this new rulership. So that's why that's necessary, because then once that happens, now all the energy of the people can be diverted into that. And this is so powerful about how the future is being written in the moment. We are also experiencing now one of the largest moons in 50 years. The super moon, as they call it, the beaver moon. And the reason why that's actually happening is because there's so much energy in the cloud, as it's called, so much thoughts and things going on prior to this election that now this full moon, people will reap what they sow. And this is like the whole thing with how the world works on that clock. Like a farmer, you don't plant during new moon. You plant closer towards full moon because that's when the plants are going to be abundant. That's when they're going to begin to sprout and to grow. So, you know, simple things, most simple things on the planet, the farmer knows. And in that, the farmer actually becomes the one who is the king of their own life, because they become sustainable. They become sovereigns. Instead of depending on the surrogate mothers and fathers to take care of you, you actually start tapping into your own power and allowing your power to take care of you. And this is something that we've been talking about for 6 or 7 years, about how to begin to go right into your body. Instead of eating their poisons and eating their candies and eating their fast foods and their GMOs, how to start to isolate in your neighborhood, in your little city or town or whatever, where those farmers are that are growing the right food so that you can become a human again. How you can actually still stay in the matrix in attendance to your job and whatever you may have to do until you can self-substantiate, but how not to get compromised by the matrix by steering conversations, understanding how to not keep your mind tuned into negativity. All these things we've been teaching and people have been learning in our faction for 7 years now. But now all those people know And so don't email me about oh, what do we do now? Those people should know that now is time for action. Now it's time for you to take yourself to that next level. And if you haven't cleaned out your body, if you haven't looked at these videos about this knowledge that are there, that are free, and then if you haven't jumped into the university and seen it as value to invest in a curriculum-based system that's going to teach you how to align your entire self and let you also understand what's going on in the world around you, then now it's time. It's time for you to invest in yourself, because this is what's going to happen. This same phenomena, the joker or the wild card, doesn't just apply to this government system. It doesn't just apply to these occultists. It applies to everyone. So if you want to be the joker and the wild card in the whole thing, and instead of you getting caught up and whipped around and screwed and drained by these energies, you decide to take that wild step into your own direction and decide to tap out of the whole thing and do something that is basically impossible. Do something that they did not expect. Do something to where you are moving in mysterious ways by all of a sudden just saying, you know what, I'm done. I'm dropping out. I'm tuning out of that and I'm tuning into myself. And that's what we're talking about here. I'm going to say a couple more things and then I want to get this out, because I've talked for years. I've put hours and hours of recordings into explaining to people what is going to happen. Knowing the future is not difficult. Preparing for the future is where the task is. So we've been sitting there preparing for the future. Do you know, I'm not preparing for Donald Trump's. Like, that was obvious of what was going to happen. There was going to be a wild card. If you understand the tarot, that they're on, you know that their Trump card comes next. But the deeper part about this is that I'm actually preparing for AI and how we're going to have to deal with AI. So while people are whining to me about Donald Trump, I'm over here launching spirit tech. Like, for instance, this device, which I've created, it not only structures water, but it sends power back into water. And this is how it functions. And it has another apparatus that goes on the bottom that does something that you'll see if you happen to receiving one of these. And what you have in here, well, I'll leave for another conversation, but is basically how you can infuse power into your own body. Okay? So these are the things that we need to be focusing on. These are the things that we need to be doing. These are the things that we need to be creating. Because if we're, again, paying attention all the time to what is going on with these people, then we don't have that clear space in our consciousness to pull these inventions right out of the all-knowing space. And if you haven't heard any of my message before, I recommend that you check out this recent recording that I have called Halloween Hypnosis. So you could just for a moment start getting an idea and start grasping how deep the level of hypnosis is that most people are in. We're all in it. Even me, I probably am still about 2 levels under, while some people may be 20 or 200 levels under. So even when people email me right now and they ask me and they're all in this frenzy, it only proves to me more, especially if there's someone that I know, it only proves to me more how they actually haven't been listening to what I've been saying. This is not, again, about what's happening right now. It's about what's coming. And if we adjust ourselves properly, we are more than capable of actually creating an entirely different reality for ourselves. And if you don't believe that that's possible, you need to realize that there's people all around. You can't even call it a world anymore, right? Like, talk to flat earthers about that. There are people that are all around the vast consciousness that have chose to do that. Humans are not the only beings in the entire all existence. There's myriads of other beings, and how they choose to live their existence is based on the level and the control of their own mind and the collection and the consciousness of their own community and the resonance of what the people in that community want. And if you are following these dark lords and all these megalomaniac capitalists into the pit to fulfill their biblical traditions and Abrahamic consciousness, then that's on you still, because you're the one responsible for hitting the switch. So this is what I have to say. There's a new advent coming. Do not waste your time with the Trump situation. Get yourself self-substantiated, because AI is on the way. And if you notice, okay, so they've been running the AI heavy across the news, obviously just with the advent of Google Home, where these devices are listening all the time. Echo is listening all the time. Siri is listening all the time. Because when you say, hello, Google, or something like that, a device in your house will begin to respond to you right away and say, yes, what do you need, right? But it's listening all the time. And it has also microphones that hear through walls. They were talking about that this thing has microphones that we have yet to put in some of the stuff that we use every day. Okay, because they have all these technologies that they're unfolding in this new AI system to where basically things will start to become managed by machines. Starts off with the self-driving car. Now it's the self-driving truck, right? So how truck drivers feel about the self-driving truck? Probably about how Americans feel right now about Donald Trump, most of them, right? But that also brings up another point, that there are a large group of people that are actually supporting, in many tenses, even the ideology of bigotry. And like I said, it's revealing a nasty scar that has actually never healed since slavery days, meaning that people have still not been allowed to come together to rectify their differences. What's gone on is that the divide and conquer has taken place. This so-called Illuminati has moved in and has governed everyone basically just by money. You can like a person if you're making money with them or you depend on them some way. But behind the doors, you could say something like, oh, that old cracker, or oh, that nigga, and still have that whole paradigm going on in your mind, because the goal for them is divide and conquer. So they're going to set up the enemy right in front of you, and it's mainly going to be the person that is actually your true ally. All right? So remember that we are each other's allies, that it's really us against them. And we outnumber them, but we have lost a great deal of our ancestral connection. Meaning, even if you're from Ireland, what do your people really do?